The sun has set, night is here, which means one thing and one thing only. It is time for part 2 of Night Mode, where we test 4 flagships against each other to see which one will win and go into the final round. So here we have the Honor Magic 6 Pro, OnePlus12, Xiaomi 14 Ultra, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Which one of these bad boys will be crowned king? Well, let's find out by starting to test them out. For the purpose of making sure that all the photos aren't blurry and shaky, we will be using a tripod.
Before we start, I want to thank HideMe VPN for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check out the link in the description to get your first 3 months off, but more on that later. Quick side note, on the Xiaomi 14 Ultra, we decided to shoot in vibrant mode to achieve the best possible exposure since we're shooting in the dark and want to maximize Xiaomi's capabilities.
As always, we'll be starting off with standard wide photos as we feel that's the mode that's used the most frequently. And also to make sure that we get the best results possible, we have set all of the devices to night mode.
In this first example, the iPhone has produced an image with the best color accuracy, balancing the exposure well to make the U-Bahn sign sharp and visible. Xiaomi also performed decently, but the shadows are harsher, especially on my face, and the overall tone is warmer. The Honor and OnePlus both have their respective issues. The Honor handles exposure better for the subject, while the OnePlus manages the exposure better for the U-Bahn sign, which appears sharper along with the entire background. I gotta say, I'm immediately impressed with the OnePlus here. The colors look good, the skin tone is accurate, the darks are nice and deep, and the exposure is well balanced without any overexposed areas. The iPhone's image is also decent with overall sharpness and more saturation, but it has a slight green tint that detracts from the quality. Both Xiaomi and Honor's images are far too overexposed, washing out a lot of texture and details. In this next comparison, all the devices have produced decent and usable photos, with the Honor standing out slightly more than the other 3. This is mainly due to its accurate coloring and well-balanced exposure, ensuring the building is well lit while maintaining the dark night ambience. The other devices also performed well, but with minor variations. The iPhone has a slight green tint, Xiaomi's image is a bit too warm, and the OnePlus image is slightly less sharp. In the final example, we tested the cameras in an extremely low light environment, standing in a very dark street with only a few distant lights. Despite the low brightness around my face, the Honor has produced the most natural outcome and added a slight bokeh effect, which has turned out pretty nice. The OnePlus captured deeper blacks, and despite a harsher balance between darks and lights, it's created a pleasing night photo with a fully sharp background, which might be a personal preference. Unfortunately, both the Xiaomi and the iPhone have struggled significantly. Xiaomi's image is overall quite blurry, and while the iPhone's photo is well lit, it appears overly processed with pixelation and high clarity.
Moving on to ultra-wide photos, these are super great of catching more of the scenery in, so let's see what the results look like.
This was an interesting one. Each device brought a unique approach to color. The iPhone and Xiaomi opted for orange, while the OnePlus and Honor chose red. The true-to-life color is orange. However, upon closer inspection, the OnePlus handled things best. It's achieved a deep contrast, exposed the right details, and made the neon sign crystal clear. Xiaomi has more accurate coloring and nice exposure, but the neon sign looks slightly smudged. The iPhone's contrast is lower than Xiaomi's, but overall performed better than the Honor, which has an unpleasant undertone and a patchy sky. In the next photo, although every device has struggled slightly, the OnePlus delivered the best results. The darks are deep, the image is sharp, and the neon signs are well handled. Xiaomi also performed decently, but its contrast is lower, and the higher exposure on the neon sign has created an unwanted blue hue. Honor has managed the neon sign well, but failed to maintain high contrast, resulting in a foggy sky and a dull photo. The iPhone performed the worst. The neon signs are severely overexposed, particularly noticeable in the Dyson sign, and the image lacks sharpness and has a distracting yellow tint. In this scenario, there aren't too many major differences, and all the devices performed quite well. However, the Honor struggled most with the street light, making the surrounding building look kinda smudged, so it does get 1 point less. Finally, in the last photo, Xiaomi takes the crown for exposing the subject well, maintaining saturated and vibrant colors, and achieving good exposure in the shop window. The other devices struggled with this, with the iPhone being the most overexposed. Among the other three, it comes down to personal preference. The OnePlus is brighter, but has an overall pink hue, which isn't ideal. The iPhone and Honor are darker, with Honor handling the light better in the shop windows, but the iPhone is sharper overall, with better color accuracy. Let's pause for a moment and briefly talk about safety. A VPN keeps you safe online by turning your information into secret code and hiding your computer's location. This means no one can see what websites you visit or find out where you are. If that sounds like something you'd find useful, then you'll want to hear this next part. HideMe VPN is one of the fastest offshore VPNs with 24/7 support and cross-platform access. Enjoy 10 GB speeds across 2,300 servers globally. You can also navigate the web with a trusted ally, SmartGuard, proactively guarding against malware, tracking, ads, and phishing threats in real time. Plus, they don't store logs, ensuring your actions remain yours. Best part, you can start for free. Click the link in the description to secure your online freedom with HideMe VPN. Simple, secure, and yours.
So now it is time for portrait mode, which is actually one of my favorites. I'm very excited to see how each device will perform and how it'll handle the edge detection, especially in dark conditions.
For portraits, we decided to go with Xiaomi's Master Mode as we felt it looked the most natural. In this first example, none of the devices have perfect edge detection, but Xiaomi and Honor have performed reasonably well, managing to expose the subject properly. The OnePlus is similar to the Honor, but with slightly harsher shadows, and its edge detection is subpar, especially noticeable above my head. The iPhone, however, struggled significantly, underexposing the entire image. In this next photo, the iPhone redeemed itself with a well-lit image, good contrast, and excellent edge detection. However, although I appreciate the slight tan it has given me, it is unrealistic. The OnePlus also looks good with deep contrast and well-placed shadows, but its edge detection isn't ideal. Both Xiaomi and Honor produced decent results, though both are slightly overexposed. In this example, none of the devices excelled at edge detection, particularly the iPhone, which was disappointing. Otherwise, the Honor looks pretty good, being well exposed with good contrast and a warm tone. Xiaomi delivered a photo with good texture and detail, but the colors, especially my skin tone, are slightly off, making me look washed out. The iPhone has generally nice colors, but the poor edge detection makes it look like bad Photoshop. The OnePlus has nice deep contrast, but the entire image has a purple hue, which is a major drawback. As you probably know, we love to do a blind test before revealing each comparison video to see what you choose without knowing the brand name. It wasn't surprising when the majority voted for D, Honor. It won by far, with the iPhone in second place, Xiaomi in third, and OnePlus in last place with only 10 points. We definitely agree with these results. The Honor overall looks great, excelling in exposure, color accuracy, and nice detail in my hair. One of you mentioned that the iPhone makes me look old, and I have to say that I agree. The shadows are misplaced, and the overall sharpening detracts from the image despite the nice warm tone. Xiaomi did okay, but my skin tone looks washed out with a slight blue undertone. Unfortunately, the OnePlus is underexposed with a blue hue, which doesn't do it any favors.
Now let's move on to video, which is super crucial when deciding which smartphone to go for.
In this first example, the first thing I noticed is how well the OnePlus and Honor handle the screens in the background, preventing overexposure, especially with the Honor being very impressive. However, the iPhone and Xiaomi delivered overall better videos as the subject remains the main focus with good lighting, excellent color accuracy, and sharp, detailed features. The main difference between the two is that the iPhone is consistently sharp, whereas Xiaomi has a nice bokeh effect when I'm closer to the camera, which again comes down to personal preference. The OnePlus tends to give off a purplish blue tint, which isn't appealing, and unfortunately the Honor makes my features look quite smudged. In this next example, it's evident that the iPhone has done the best job of balancing the backlight, preventing overexposure. Xiaomi also controls the backlight well, but the overall video is too dark. The OnePlus is overexposed, and while the Honor manages the backlight well, the overall video does appear somewhat smudged. As I move closer to the camera, it becomes clear that the iPhone and OnePlus have the best results, with Xiaomi and Honor trailing behind. Xiaomi's background remains very overexposed, and Honor's video is still smudgy and slightly oversaturated. We then tested the devices in extremely dark conditions by heading to a rooftop with only the building lights in the background. In part 1, the Pixel took the win here, but this time I think Xiaomi deserves it. Despite the video being overly warm, it does have nice deep blacks and overall sharpness, unlike the others. The shadows are too lifted on the rest, with the iPhone and OnePlus looking particularly bad. Honor doesn't look great either, but it does have a deeper contrast, staying truer to real-life conditions. Next, we experimented with ultra-wide videos. In the first round, the iPhone looks the most natural, with good color accuracy and decent exposure. Xiaomi also looks good, but the contrast is a bit too strong, losing some details. Honor is far too overexposed and looks pretty awful, while the OnePlus looks average but has some noise present. In the final example, Xiaomi and OnePlus look pretty good with nice deep contrast and vibrant colors. The iPhone's shadows are too lifted, the department store sign has a slight blue tint, and the entire video lacks that punch that Xiaomi and OnePlus provide. Unfortunately, the Honor doesn't look great once again. It's too dark, the colors are off, and the whole video is quite blurry.
It's time to have some fun with selfies and also front camera video. Let's see which one gives us the best results.
Getting a good selfie at night is challenging, so keeping the camera very still is crucial to avoid blurry results. In the first example, I was standing near streetlights, and both the iPhone and OnePlus delivered great results. The iPhone looks more natural with lower contrast, while the OnePlus has nice exposure and sharpness, making it a matter of personal preference. The Honor also looks decent, but the colors are a bit flat, giving me a washed out appearance. Xiaomi's photo isn't bad overall, but there's a slight green tint on my face, which isn't very appealing. In the next example, I went to a completely dark spot with no lights whatsoever except what was coming from the smartphone when on full brightness. The iPhone excelled here, producing a well-exposed image with punchy colors and a warm, fresh skin tone. The Honor did a decent job exposing my face, but it has a cooler hue with slightly green undertones. The OnePlus looks overly processed, resulting in an artificial look. Unfortunately, Xiaomi is completely underexposed and the flash failed, making the image look smudged and blurry. Now let's take a look at front camera video. This one was tough since none of the videos look great, but the iPhone seems to have the sharpest outcome with the least noise and the most natural look. The OnePlus follows with nice contrast and punchy colors. It's a close call between Honor and Xiaomi. Xiaomi has a strong green undertone, especially in my skin tone, while Honor's video isn't as sharp. So finally, let's summarize each category and see who the winners are. For standard photos, the OnePlus comes in first place, followed by a draw in second place between the iPhone and Honor, leaving Xiaomi in last place. Next, we have ultra-wide photos, where OnePlus once again takes first place, followed by Xiaomi in second place, the iPhone in third place, and Honor in last place. However, interestingly enough, in portrait mode, Honor takes first place, and then comes Xiaomi and the iPhone in third place and OnePlus in last place. In videos, it's a draw between the iPhone and Xiaomi in first place, followed by the OnePlus in second place, and Honor comes in last place. For front camera photos and videos, the iPhone takes first place, followed by the OnePlus in second place, Honor is third, and Xiaomi comes in last place. And that means that it is a draw between the iPhone and OnePlus, which means they will both be going into the final round to battle against each other and our Part 1 winner. To find out who that was, make sure to watch Part 1 if you haven't already. So that pretty much sums up these 4 different phones when tested against each other during dark hours. We hope you found this review useful and we would love to hear your thoughts. Which one would you choose? Let us know in the comments down below. Stay tuned for the final part of this 3-part series where we battle 3 final flagships against each other to determine who will be crowned king of the dark hours. Dun dun dun! Make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you don't miss that video. And as always, give this video a big like if you enjoyed it. And with that being said, we will see you in the next video. And until then, take care.